So my slide is entitled Strength and Perseverance, Pressing On in the End Times. Today I want to speak about strength and perseverance and what it means to keep pressing on, especially now where everything is more of a rush and we forget the enduring and the waiting and the remaining faithful part. So this is my illustration. As today is International Women's Day, I decided to think about something we could probably relate to. You see, when a man goes into a store to shop for shoes, 5, maybe 10 minutes. But I don't know about all women, but I know for myself, especially if I go in a store to shop for shoes, I don't know how long I'll take, but I might try on 10 pairs or a few more until I get exactly what I want. And there's still the probability that I walk out without anything. Because I will keep waiting until I find exactly what I want. And that brings me to God's design. God made women with this special thing to persevere and just keep going and keep waiting. I heard that's because we have to do the whole 9 months thing. You have to have perseverance for that, to wait. So that's one. So God gave women this incredible ability, and it transfers into our spiritual life and in prayer. Because when I ask God for something, or when we ask God for something, we don't just ask once. We can keep asking, and we can keep waiting, and we can keep holding on for that. And that I find to be an admirable feature, and I think it shouldn't just be for women, but we should all achieve to have that perseverance, especially in prayer and in waiting for God. As I go into women, I would like to introduce an incredible woman from the Bible. Her name was Esther. The book of Esther is unique because the entire book went through everything without mentioning God, yet his presence was always visible. He was always working. When he didn't see it, he was working. In the book of Esther, we see, for a historical context, right? We see the foreign land in Persia, they were scattered, vulnerable, and persecuted, and without visible power. Yet God seemed silent. He was not absent. He was just positioning his people for what was to come. Esther, as a Jewish woman, was placed in the palace not by accident, but by divine purpose. She didn't know it then, but she was starting to prepare for the gap. There was a time where Haman, we can compare him to the Antichrist since we're comparing end times. Haman had come up with a plan to kill all of the Jewish people. The Jewish people in this context would be the Christians. Although persecution might not be a huge thing in Trinidad, it is happening around the world. Yet, Esther was already positioned in the palace. We are being positioned now. We might not see things happening yet, but we are being positioned. We are being placed. And what might look like silence is strategic planning or preparation. In our positioning, we have to go through some things. Before Esther was able to meet the king, she had to go through 1 year of preparation. That year of preparation would have been 12 months waiting, submission process for Esther. And it is said in the verse, now when every maid's turn was come to go into the king and to seek, after that, she had been 12 months, according to the matter of the woman. For so were the days of their purifications accomplished. To wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purification of the woman. The first 6 months was the bitterness before the beauty. And the first 6 months involved oil of myrrh. Myrrh was used for the purification, healing, perseverance, and the burial preparation. It was bitterness, suffering, and dying to self. Before Esther could be exalted as queen, she had to go through the suffering and the refinement process. Preparation can sometimes begin with bitterness before beauty, or before we see any kind of results that we want. Because tribulation worketh with patience. Following the bitterness, she went to the sweet notes. That was the fragrance. After the bitterness came fragrance. Sweet perfume symbolized the beauty that came after the preparation, the 6 months of preparation, yet she still was not able to meet the king. But it positioned her for favor, acceptance, and readiness. God does not leave his people in the bitterness season. That is our preparation season. He wants to refine us so that when he restores us and makes us beautiful, we are ready, we are able to meet him. The preparation and the perseverance follows, favor follows. But it didn't come easy. Esther had to submit. She had to submit. She did not resist the process. 12 months process, 6 months, a harsh, bitter treatment. Then 6 months, the perfumes. She had to prepare her body to meet the king. We have to prepare our spiritual life. Esther did not resist. After Esther obtained the favor in the sight of them that looked on her, it was not accidental. After the preparation, she received favor. It came through the obedience, endurance, and trust. We are currently in a season of preparation, and we must endure our process. We must persevere through the waiting, and we must complete the work before we meet our king. We are not being delayed, we are being prepared. In Esther 4:14, it speaks about, for such a time as this. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Who knows if each and every single one of us sitting here today has come to church, who has come to the kingdom of God for something, for such a time as this? We are here for a purpose and for a reason. What are we doing in preparation for our coming king? Positioned in this generation. Persecution still exists. It might not be very visible in Trinidad, like I said, but it is still there. It is very real around the world. Yet God is positioning us here today in our workplaces, in our schools, in our families, in our communities. We may not wear crowns like Esther and the king, but we carry the authority of Christ. We must use the time that we have now and the people we are meeting now. We want to have this preparation. We want to meet the people. We want to win souls now, because this is the time we have for our preparation. We don't know how long the preparation period might be, but we know that it comes to an end. Like Esther, we are living in our preparation period. We must persevere through silence, remain faithful, and complete the work, because we are preparing to meet our coming king. And in closing, God's silence is not absence. He works when we don't see it. It is preparation for such a time as this. Just like Esther, we are positioned here and now for a purpose, a reason, and a season. Before we meet our king, we want to be ready. And we all want to hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant.